All right, so let me get this straight. I got the numbers crunched here on the paper. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Wood Doofus here. If you're watching this video and you're anything like me, you might be trying to make some money with some woodworking projects. I actually originally didn't set out to make any money with woodworking projects, but it just kind of happened and I started making this YouTube channel and the rest is history. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how much money I made on my first month of selling woodworking projects. So what is my background in woodworking? About 5 or 6 years ago, I wanted to redo my kitchen a little bit. So the first major tool that I bought after a drill was my skill saw. And when I bought that, I used the skill saw to cut the laminate pieces of countertop that I put into my kitchen. And then I put in a new sink, and I put in a new faucet and a new garbage disposal, and I really spruced things up. I was really happy with the way that worked out, so I started to take on more and more home projects, and with each project I would buy new tools that were required for that project, and over a lot of time I got a good setup of tools for my shop here. After I did my kitchen, I think my next major project was my back deck. I ended up building a 12 by 16 deck in the back with nothing but the skill saw and a drill. As I took on all these home improvement projects, I eventually acquired a Home Depot credit card. And the plan that kind of started to work out was I would budget about $400 or $500 a month into home improvements. I lived in a house that needed some improvements if I ever wanted to sell it one day, so I wanted to start to build those improvements early so I wouldn't get stuck when I wanted to sell the house, whenever that might be. So as I would spend money on new tools and new supplies for the projects, I would build up a couple $1,000s onto that Home Depot credit card, and I would have to take a break and pay that down over time. So what kind of business am I running? This is probably what most people would call a side hustle right now, and I don't foresee any point where it would be anything different. I have a full-time job that requires 45 to 50 hours a week, and that keeps me pretty busy. But I do have 3 days off a week. I work 4 days and I have 3 days off. So I try to take those 3 days to schedule in some projects. So this business is not intended to be my income. It's actually intended to be supplemental income. And I think there's a lot of people out there that have that very same business idea if they're not doing it already. So when did I decide to start making money with this stuff? I actually started this YouTube channel last year, and the only reason that I started it was that I've always liked to share the projects that I was working on. I would share them on Facebook with pictures and sometimes videos, and I enjoyed sharing them, and it was always kind of in the back of my mind to start a YouTube channel where I would share some of this stuff because I saw tons of other people doing it. I really didn't have any expectations for how the channel would work out, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised that it's working out somewhat. Amazing things aren't happening here just yet, but it is growing, and so I appreciate your viewership. But once I started this channel, I had some friends that would watch it. I would petition my friends to subscribe to my channel, and they would watch something. And when I built my farmhouse TV stand, I had a friend that wanted one exactly like it, and he was willing to pay for it. People have always told me that I should sell my work, but I never really saw myself doing that. But if somebody asked me without me propositioning them, I was all about it. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And I made him a pretty good deal on that first stuff, but as I started to realize how much work went into these kinds of things, I had to up my prices to make them worth my time. So once I started to get more videos from my projects, I would basically go to people that I know and say, hey, subscribe to my channel. And quite often, more often than I thought would happen, people would say, well, I'd like you to build me something. And so I quickly had to develop a schedule so that I could plan out these different projects that people were asking me to do, and basically started making some money. So the month of March was basically the first month that I started to record all of my expenses and my income to see what kind of potential this business had. So what is my business model? Well, right now I don't have a very firm business model. Basically, people say, hey, can you build something for me? And I say, show me a picture of something that you like and I'll tell you if I can do it. Sometimes they'll have an idea and I'll look up some pictures online on Etsy or Pinterest or places like that build things that are similar to what I build. And usually, especially with Etsy, there's this huge price tag attached to these things. And I can typically make pretty good money by cutting that by a third or sometimes a half. And so people really feel like I can do some good work for them at a reasonable price. And really, I do. So what's my pricing model? Well, basically the people I know that give me jobs will get twice the material cost or 100% markup. And that turns out to be a pretty good price based on the market value of these kinds of things. So eventually I'm going to change my pricing model to $30 an hour plus a 40% markup. And that's going to give me a fairer price for the time that I use. So when you look at my Facebook business page, you're going to see a price that reflects $30 an hour plus a 40% markup. So what people I know are helping me with is they're helping me develop my skills. Since I'm on a fledgling situation here with my business, I need that time to develop some skills, and I'm giving them a pretty good price to help me out with that. Not to mention I'm able to take some pictures of my projects and showcase them on my business page and on social media and things like that. All right, so let's talk about the projects I did make in March, and we'll talk about how much money I made making them. I made 2 American flag concealment tables. I have that video. I made the China hutch for my friend Andy. I made a gaming TV stand for my friend Staniel. I helped a friend install a dog gate and a ramp for his shed. I also wholesaled some of those flags that I made to a family member that runs a little shop that thought they might be able to resell them. All right, so let me get this straight. I got the numbers crunched here on the paper. The total expenses for the month of March was $1,017.56. The total income was $1,845.17. So with those two numbers, the basic profit was $827.61. Now, I will say that I bought some tools in there, and I typically count any tools as a reinvestment in the company. I bought a belt sander. What did I buy? Oh yeah. I bought a belt sander and I bought 4 rather large bar clamps. And together they made up about $250. So if you take that $250 for new tools and put it back in the profits, then I end up with a profit of $1,077.61. So that sounds great. The catch is, with that $1,000 that I made, I used almost every minute of my free time for the month of March. So all of my days off, things like that, were used up making things. And I made some money doing it, but I also sacrificed most of the major things that I do in my own house and things like that. So for the month of April, I didn't take any reservations or time slots for projects so I could catch up on my own projects in my own house. So what does the future hold for your old pal Wood Doofus? Well, some big news that I'll tell you is we actually put in an offer on a bigger house for our family just a few days ago. And that offer was accepted, so next month we're going to be moving to a bigger house, and the most important thing, it's going to be a bigger garage. Right now I'm operating in an oversized 1-car garage, and it's pretty cluttered and it's pretty tight. So I look forward to starting from scratch and developing a pretty nice workshop. As far as the money that I'm making doing these projects, I intend just to reinvest that money into nicer, better tools, more tools to do different things. I also continue to work with people that I know rather than moving into the general public. I've put out some postings in the past on Facebook Marketplace, and I've had a little bit of success, but it's also a frustrating experience doing that. So as long as I'm being successful with the time that I have with people that I know, I'm going to continue doing that. And in doing that, I'm going to be able to develop my skills, and I'm going to be able to figure out the crafting concepts that I like. I'm going to be able to experiment with different techniques and things like that to find the kind of work that I like to do. What I'm discovering so far is that I like to make standalone furniture items. I don't really want to move into the business of being a handyman where I show up to your house and fix things and build things. That's not really what I want to do, although I appreciate you thinking of me if you have thought of me. But I think I want to shift that focus, because my time is so limited, to projects that I actually have a little bit of passion for. And that's going to be these standalone furniture items that have an artistic flair to them and things like that. So once again, I appreciate everybody watching my channel. I appreciate everybody that's given me an opportunity to do some projects for them. So keep following along. You'll see the process of us moving into a new garage and doing something cool with that and doing new projects in the future. And until next time, don't be afraid to be a doofus.